Si la bêta de Battlefield 3 a soulevé un nombre important de questions, le jeu, lui, prévu pour les jours à venir, n'en est pas moins super attendu. La guerre entre le titre de DICE et son principal concurrent de chez Activision s'apprête à sévir. Et c'est dans ce contexte virtuellement tendu que Carl Magnus Strothson, vice-président et general manager de DICE, a accepté de répondre à nos questions, à commencer par les challenges que son équipe a surmontés durant la phase de développement.
Well, I think there's a couple of them actually. One of them is definitely that this is the biggest and boldest thing that we have ever done. It's the biggest game that DICE have ever done. For instance, we're shipping it with both single player, co-op, and multiplayer, all in the same, out of the box. So there's been a lot of people involved in just getting this game done. That's definitely been one development challenge for us. The other one has perhaps been a bit more emotional, and that is actually to build a sequel to Battlefield 2, which is one of the games that the community probably holds the highest in the series. As it's the best game ever done, in the series, and creating a sequel to something like that comes with a lot of responsibilities. So that's also been a challenge as well, but perhaps more on the emotional plane.
L'intérêt de la série des Battlefield repose principalement sur le multijoueur. Un constat que les équipes de DICE ont évidemment assimilé et qui, notamment grâce au feedback de la communauté, les a aidés à proposer de nouvelles features intéressantes pour ce Battlefield 3.
Well, the multiplayer in Battlefield 3 has definitely taken a big step forward in many different ways, both on the high level with things like on PC that we have brought back so you can play 64 players together on PC, as well as introducing new vehicles like we had in Battlefield 2, the jets, for instance. These are very, very big steps that changes the whole Battlefield of how you play it to taking it to a very even larger level. But there is also a lot of innovation in the game on a finer and smaller level, and a lot of this is actually based on feedback from the community. Things like we actually now can go prone in the game. You can lie down on the ground, which you haven't been able to do that. That's based on feedback from the community. People also really wanted to see a more advanced way of joining games on the console. So that's why we have now, as the first game ever in the Battlefield series, and I don't think any other one have done it before, we have a server browser on console as well, similar to what the PC audience have been using for a long time. We're now giving this more advanced tools to the console audience as well. That was also based on community feedback. So we are definitely listening a lot to what the community and has been saying for some time, and then implementing and changing and making these kind of putting these kind of innovations into the game. I mean, in Battlefield 3, the maps will definitely be large enough for you to be able to fly the jets and have dogfights and these kind of things. And usually what we do is that you have one area where the vehicles, the ground vehicles and the infantry can move. If you go out of bounds, you get a message saying that you need to go back. For the jets and often for the helicopters as well, this area is bigger, meaning that they can fly in, do an attack, and then they can go out and turn around and come back again, which makes it much more it works properly for them as well, so they have enough room to maneuver in. But at the same time, the jets can't fly as fast as they do in real life. We're not building a simulator here, we're building something that's supposed to be fun, so they fly slower as well, which means that it's possible to stay inside the area.
Mais le multi n'est pas le seul mode sur lequel les joueurs pourront perdre du temps, puisqu'en plus d'une campagne solo qui, à défaut d'être vraiment originale au niveau du scénario, promet des explosions dans tous les sens, Battlefield 3 propose également un mode coop à part entière.
The co-op campaign in Battlefield 3 is definitely a separate campaign, or whatever you want to call it. You're not playing the single player missions and you're not playing the multiplayer levels. It's actually custom built campaign missions just for the co-op, which you and a friend can play together. It's two-player co-op. Of course, we have borrowed some parts of maps, so you might recognize some of the levels, but they're built specifically for co-op, and we felt that was quite important to get to the level of quality in the co-op that we wanted to build.
Depuis plusieurs mois maintenant, les pics de DICE à l'encontre de la série Call of Duty n'ont cessé d'amuser la presse et d'alimenter les guéguerres entre les communautés respectives. Certaines de ces phrases étaient, selon nous, un peu fortes de café. Et c'est probablement la raison pour laquelle Carl semble vouloir recentrer le débat.
I would say this, at DICE we're game developers, we're quite competitive, but we are first and foremost competitive against ourselves. Our goal is always to make a better game than the one that we did before. Naturally, we wanted to sell more as well than the game did before, but we are competing with ourselves, and we are very focused on just making the best Battlefield game that we can do. That's our main focus. Naturally, it is interesting to that we are going up so closely against the other competitive titles out there now for this Christmas, but at the same time, we need to stay focused on what it is that we are doing. As for the whole idea of that there's a competition in there, I think the FPS genre is probably one of the most competitive genres out there. Not just because there's a lot of shooters out there, but also because the FPS crowd is demanding a lot from their games. They want to have the best graphics, the best audio, the best animation. They want the best games all together to create a really good experience. And they want to see innovation in their titles. They want to see that each title moves the bar forward of what you can do with the game. And so that's what I mean, that there's a lot of competition in there as well. And for us, that's been focusing on FPS games for quite some time now. I like that competition. I like that we are in an environment where we always have to challenge ourselves to make better, to push and to make a game that is even better than we did before. So from that perspective, I think it's pretty healthy.
Une compétition saine selon lui donc, mais qui de toute manière n'empêchera pas la guerre d'éclater d'ici la sortie du jeu, le 27 octobre prochain sur PC, PS3 et 360. Et bien entendu, on y prendra part.